All right. Well, hello, world. How's it going? I'm Vinny.
I'm Tom. And we're going to talk about Christmas movies, some of our favorites, some alternate ones, and
And some classic
yeah.
ones.
So,
And this is our first movie review, so yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
See how this goes.
so one of the first alternate ones is Batman Returns by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer. That's a really fun one. Basically, after Batman '89, the studio kind of just let him go crazy, and it's an insane movie. There's clowns that Batman blows up.
Michelle Pfeiffer in a skin tight cat
Yeah,
suit.
yeah, she is in a leather mommy outfit. Danny DeVito bites someone's nose.
Good night, kids.
Well, I mean that's why they took him off of the franchise, but I really like that one. That one was my favorite as a kid, and I think it's still like my favorite of the four because like even as a kid I really liked the Joel Schumacher ones too. I still like them, but they're not the same vibe at all as the Tim Burton ones. I don't know. You have anything else on that one?
Not really. I mean, first time I watched it, I loved it.
Oh yeah, it's very fun.
And keep in mind, I never saw it as a kid. I saw it as an adult, and I still loved it.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's kind of more for adults than for kids, but like
I think.
I mean, I loved Batman as a kid. This one is one that I told my dad is a Christmas movie, and he's like, "No, it's an anti-Christmas movie." And yeah, I kind of agree. Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick, his final film starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. It is set at Christmas, and every scene except the masked orgy in the middle has a Christmas decoration.
Well, thank you. You just gave it away, honey.
The movie is about marital infidelity, well, the potential of marital infidelity, and trying to stay honest for your partner, but also acknowledging that you're going to have fantasies and I mean, they should just be open, but yeah, it's a really interesting movie. Definitely not for everyone. I think if you're watching it as a couple, it will either spark a really good conversation about, how you all feel about sex and relationships and all that, or it will break you up, I feel like. But yeah, it's an excellent movie. It's based on an 18th century novel that they updated to the then present of 1999. Hence the mask orgy scene, because like it takes place in Venice, in the novel at Carnival, so that's why they're all wearing the masks. But yeah, it's a really interesting movie. I think about it a lot. I mean, I don't know that it's my favorite Kubrick, but maybe top 5. I think it might be in my top 5 for Kubrick.
All right.
Definitely top 7.
All right.
All right, and then this one is a Christmas classic in its own right, I think. Black Christmas by Bob Clark. You can't see it in the...
Don't worry. I'll do close-up inserts of this later.
Yeah. Well, I just did it right now, so you don't need to. No, I'm kidding.
You do things your way, I'll do it my way.
So Bob Clark also did A Christmas Story, so it's really funny because that he did.
Which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, so like that's a more traditional one.
This is the anti-family friendly version of A Christmas Story.
Yeah, this is the OG holiday slasher too.
He made this before A Christmas Story.
Well, but this came out before Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the original holiday slasher movie. Halloween came after, and then it started a whole trend. Like, I can't say that this one really started a trend because it was really Halloween being hugely successful, but this was a huge inspiration for Halloween. And when they made the Legacy sequel in 2018, they did a screening of the original Halloween, Black Christmas, and the new Halloween. But yeah, I like this one a lot.
We'll have to rewatch this soon because I forgot a lot of the parts. I've only seen it a handful of times.
It's an interesting little movie because it's very low budget. I think it was shot on 16 millimeter. It certainly looks like it. And it just kind of there's just a creep and he's stalking a sorority house, killing people and making obscene phone calls, and they're very disturbing because like I feel like a lot of times the murderer in a slasher movie is kind of stylized in some way, and this guy is not. He's just a nutso guy who's gonna kill them, and his motives apparently are just he gets off on it and that's it. There's nothing else. No, oh, she's his sister and he's coming after her for, fill in the blank. It's he's just a pervert. And not a good one. And that's, well, not quite in the same vein. Krampus, the naughty cut. I didn't really like the theatrical version of this movie, to be honest. I think it's okay. But the naughty cut really, it changed my mind because I really cared about the families after that. So the premise, if you don't know, is it's from the same director as Trick or Treat.
Michael something.
Michael Dougherty.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, these two branches of a family like get together for Christmas, and
they don't get along.
They don't get along. They're so different.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke that like one of them, the one family is like liberal stereotypes, and the other one is conservative stereotypes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the young, I think he's the youngest. Well, one of the main character, he gets fed up with their infighting, and he tears up his like wish list to Santa. And it causes the evil Santa Krampus to show up and claim them, and so then the family's under attack.
Before you go on, for those who are not familiar with the Krampus tale, like in a nutshell, what's it about?
He's an older, at least than the contemporary like Coca-Cola sort of Santa Claus. He's an older version of it who, like steals bad children in the night or kills them. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a goat-like thing. I don't really know too much about the actual like legend. I would assume that he probably goes back to some sort of like Pan or like pagan sort of thing. He kind of seems like it, but I don't really know. I believe he is some Central European folklore character, perhaps Germany. Oh, this one's fun too. This is another one of my favorites. Anna and the Apocalypse.
I don't want to give too much away about this movie, but they talk about Olive, the other reindeer. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a Scottish Christmas zombie musical. Need I say more? No, it's really funny. I really like the cast. They're all high school students, or supposed to be. And yeah, just a zombie apocalypse comes to their town. It's so cute, but also like heartbreaking. Cause like I actually care when people die in the movie. Mm-hmm. Usually zombie comedies, you don't care when the people die. Like it's kind of a joke, But I don't feel like that's the case in this one. They kill some of my favorite characters, and I'm just like, no, every single time. I know it's coming.
I haven't seen it enough times like to remember the guy's name, but whoever like the male lead is, I remember like at some point like somebody gets killed right in front of him, and he has that really like funny reaction.
Yes, it's the it's the zombie in a snowman costume, and Anna knocks its head off with its teeter-totter, and it like geysers blood and hits him, and yeah, that's when he does the
he does it much better.
There's also the really funny scene of she's going singing and dancing down the street with headphones in and not realizing the zombie apocalypse is going on behind her. It's really fun. And yeah, did you have more before we move on?
No, we can go on. What we got?
The Green Knight.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about this one too.
I love this movie. Again, definitely not for everyone. I know a lot of people who were either bored with it. My parents hated it. But it's an adaptation of Sir Gawain and the Green... Or Sir Gawain, I don't know how you exactly say it. But I'm going to go with Sir Gawain because that's how I always said it. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, the anonymous medieval poem. And it is... It starts off with a Christmas feast in which the Green Knight appears and challenges Sir Gawain to a Christmas game. And then a year later, Gawain has to go and visit him at the Green Chapel to complete the game. It's really, I think this is a really interesting adaptation because they, in the poem, it is explicitly a game. The end of it is, I'll just say, in the poem he doesn't lose his head for sure, and in the movie they leave it ambiguous. I think that there's a pretty good argument that he just dies at the end, so but it's not clear, you don't know how it ends. But I was very excited when I found out that he was making this, and I fell in love with it from my first screening. So I really like that one.
Next.
Yes. This is another one that you have not seen. Well, you saw The Green Knight, but Fanny and Alexander by Ingmar Bergman. So Bergman is most famous for The Seventh Seal, the movie of the Crusader Knight playing chess against death. But Fanny and Alexander, which he made late in his career, was originally going to be his final film, but he made at least one more after that. He might have made more. And it's his... it's a semi-autobiography. And I would definitely recommend watching the miniseries version. The theatrical version is about 3 hours, and the television version is 5.5. But I mean, it's in 4 or 5 episodes, so you can watch it in pieces. The entire first episode of the miniseries is just the family celebrating Christmas. The movie is kind of bookended by the holidays, so it starts off at Christmas and then follows the family throughout the rest of the year. And it is a fictionalized version of Ingmar Bergman's actual family. I don't want to spoil too much, but almost immediately into the new year, tragedy strikes the family, and it leads to their situation changes, and they... I feel like I'm being too vague about it. Okay, their father dies pretty soon into the new year, and so then their mother is forced to remarry because she can't support them otherwise. And so she marries this Protestant minister who is abusive and locks the children in the attic. And so then the mother is like trying to escape, but she gets out but is forced to leave the children, and so then they're trying to figure out how to get Fanny and Alexander out from his clutches. And again, this is based on something that actually happened to Ingmar Bergman when he was a child, and so like the whole family has to like kind of come together to try and figure a way out of the situation. So like the middle part of the movie is kind of hard to watch. Like it's very upsetting at times. But so honestly, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just watch the first episode at the Christmas. And then I'll skip to the end and I'll watch the Christmas at the end of the movie. And I'll skip the whole child abuse portion.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
But it is a fantastic movie to watch all the way through. I recommend the miniseries version because there's a lot of like, because it is from a child's perspective, there's a lot of Alexander like imagining things happening and like playing games and like pretend stuff. And all of that is cut from the theatrical version because they just don't have time. So the miniseries version is just much more playful, and it has a different tone. And I mean that makes sense. It's like almost double the length of the theatrical version. Anyway, obviously it is in Swedish, so you have to read subtitles. But it is worth it. It's a very good movie.
Alrighty.
Okay. Now finally one for you to talk about more, because I've only seen this once or twice.
Okay, so this is a multi-pack, but the one I wanted to talk about is Friday After Next. So obviously it's the second sequel of the original Friday movie that came out in 95. Friday After Next, I believe, came out in 2002. And if you've never seen it, it's kind of like the Harold and Kumar Christmas movie, which we'll talk about later. Yeah, anyway, yeah, it's basically a stoner comedy, but set at Christmas time, and all kinds of hijinks ensue.
Well, and speaking of that...
Oh, and... actually,
go
no,
on.
I think that's it.
Stoner Christmas... hijinks.
Yeah, another stoner Christmas movie. Very Harold and Kumar Christmas.
This one might be my favorite of the three, honestly. I mean, like, it's hard to top Go to White Castle, but this one's really fun.
But hey, no, they make a great Christmas movie. Not to mention a bunch of corny 3D gags. But no, that's what gives it its charm.
I love...
And take a look. Extra dope edition.
I forget which drug they do, but then there's suddenly claymation.
Oh, there's a scene where somebody shoots a bag of cocaine.
Yeah.
They inhale it, and by the time they get off the elevator, they're suddenly claymated.
Yeah. It's a very fun movie. Danny Trejo's in that one too.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. He's I forget-
Harold's
yeah,
father-in-law.
because Harold is the nerdy one. All right.
What we got next here?
Die Hard.
Oh, I think we both could talk about this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, there's a lot of people who claim that this is not a Christmas movie, and
It's already been decided. We're
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
I was. You didn't let me finish. I was just gonna say it is a Christmas movie. Okay. Case closed.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it takes place at a Christmas party, which is at Christmas Eve, an office Christmas party on Christmas Eve for whatever reason. Although office Christmas parties look like they were way more fun in the '80s, apparently.
Well, you could. Well, in the days before smartphones, you could get away with a lot more stuff. I'm sure.
Apparently, actually, the first two Die Hards are set at Christmas, but I mean,
Well, yeah, I just really wanted to talk about the original.
yeah. Well, and the second one's not as good, but
But if you like action movies and Christmas movies, they combine the both.
it's it's a like it's very actiony. Like I mean, it's very bloody '80s action and a lot of fun. Alan Rickman and Bruce Willis are both great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Reginald Vell Johnson, who plays what's his name, Sergeant. The police officer.
I don't remember his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, Reginald Vell Johnson, who also played the police officer on Family Matters.
I hate that his character arc is that he has to get over having murdered a child.
Well, I mean, he didn't do it intentionally. It was
I
an
know,
accident.
but like, it's like, you gotta get back out there and shoot more people. Just like, I don't think that should be the message of the film, but okay, whatever.
I mean, it's got action, it's got comedy.
Oh
it's
yeah. Oh
like,
no,
even if yeah, it's just a great movie. Yeah.
oh, the movie's great. I mean, like, even if it has
well,
bad politics.
Well, let's see. It's got what, 4 or 5 sequels?
Yeah, there's 4 sequels, but the fifth Die Hard is awful. You should never watch it. So this is the last of the alternate Christmas movies, Scrooged, which is a comedy retelling of A Christmas Carol,
but set in 1980s New York.
yes, Bill Murray is a TV executive who is
He's basically the Scrooge character.
yeah. His name is Frank Cross, and part of the building he has in the exercise room it says Cross.
A thing they nailed people to. Yes.
But yeah, that one's really fun. I really like how they did the ghosts. He's such an asshole. Like,
Oh yeah.
He's so awful, and then like he's cartoonishly awful, which I mean, like, so is Ebenezer Scrooge. I mean, I don't think like Ebenezer Scrooge is kind of a caricature, and I think that like Bill Murray taking that into the 80s really shows off what Ebenezer Scrooge would have felt like reading it in the time period. And they have some really interesting like updates to it. One thing that I thought was really funny, so in the original, when Scrooge is visited by Marley's ghost, he famously says, there's more of gravy about you than the grave, claiming that the ghost is a nightmare brought on by indigestion rather than being an actual ghost. And in this version, Frank Cross says he claims that he's a hallucination brought on by Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl, which was a topical reference at the time. Like, Chernobyl had just happened. So I just think that I mean, like, there's a lot of really good jokes in that movie. And that one's one of my favorites.
And Karen Allen, who
she's great.
Who played Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark, she plays his love interest.
She's really good too. That's another thing that's interesting too, because obviously Bill Murray.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like, it's an interesting variation because obviously Frank Cross as the Scrooge character, Bill Murray is much younger than Scrooge normally is. And so he gets the chance to reunite with his love interest rather than with Ebenezer Scrooge. He's too old. I mean, like, she's remarried or, something.
I believe in most versions of the story, she's, like, remarried and has children.
Yeah, like, she's gone. There's no way that he can be with her. But in Scrooged,
he's still young enough to have a chance with her.
So they make it an interesting little romantic comedy, which I think was a fun choice.
I liked it. It's a great movie. Like, I watch it every year now.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess on to the more traditional ones.
Yes.
So the first one is The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks in many, many roles, by Robert Zemeckis. That was during his fling with... I don't know what you would call that sort of animation, but...
Motion capture.
Was it motion capture? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the motion capture animation, because he did that and then A Christmas Carol, and then he did the Beowulf movie, kind of using that too. But the Beowulf movie looks like a different style than The Polar Express and A Christmas Carol. I haven't actually seen the Jim Carrey A Christmas Carol from Robert Zemeckis, but this one's really cute. I really like this movie.
Yeah. It's got heart, sentiment,
Yeah. A
and,
little.
just a lot of cool visuals.
Yeah, a bunch of children climb aboard the Polar Express and go to the North Pole, and they meet Santa. It's very cute. There's a lot of like Tom Hanks is showing up and doing stuff, and
Yeah. Well, yeah, like he has several roles in that.
yeah, there's not really
He's-
very much
I think he-
plot
I
now
think
that I
he-
think about it.
He's the conductor. He's the hobo. He's Santa. I'm pretty sure he's somebody else too.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I just realized how little plot the movie has. I said it out loud. Because, like, basically nothing happens other than they go to the North Pole. I mean, like, there's little bits of conflict, but nothing much.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the next two go together. So it's the 60s animated How the Grinch Stole Christmas and the Ron Howard, Jim Carrey live action version. Which is funny because like I haven't actually.
I love both of these versions, by the way.
Yes, I haven't seen the live action version as an adult with the sound on. Our friends Martin and Shay will play the movie at their Christmas party,
But it's on mute.
but it's on mute and they have the subtitles on. So I've seen it like every year for.
But you
the
haven't.
last few years,
But you haven't heard it.
But yeah, I haven't heard it. So when I found this at a used store, I was like, okay, we got to do it. And then this one I hadn't watched in years before we bought it too. They're both very cute.
I know. I feel like, older audiences would definitely like this one more because I mean it's only a PG movie, but this one definitely has a few like adult jokes kind of snuck in there.
Well, you say that, but if they're older, they probably grew up with this one. You know, so they might be nostalgic for the 60s animation.
Oh no, I mean both of them are great.
Yeah. Also, it's shorter.
Well, this one was like made for TV. This was like a theatrically released movie.
Yeah. Well, and then they've done the Benedict Cumberbatch movie, which I've not seen. It was an another animated version. Because we need more Grinch, apparently. I think it's called just The Grinch. I don't think it's even How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, you're talking about that animated movie that came out a few years ago?
Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch does the voice of the Grinch in that one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I think it's 3D animated, because that's the style now, for the most part. Well, anyway, I mean, like, these are really cute. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, the Grinch, most people know the story.
Mm-hmm.
The Grinch is oversensitive to sound, and the Who's annoy him, so he steals all their noisy, colorful bullshit and tries to throw it off a mountain.
But then his heart grows and he gets it all back.
Then he realizes that he should just go be overstimulated and be around the Who's.
He even carved the roast beast.
And so then I threw this one on. We watched this the other day, The Muppets Christmas Carol.
I wasn't expecting to throw this one, but yes, The Muppet Christmas Carol. Yeah.
I hadn't seen that one as a child, so it was kind of fun. Our former roommate Ian introduced that movie to me, and I got to see it at the New Beverly a few years ago. That one's really cute. I like Paul Williams' music in it, and Michael Caine's really fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about it lots of times, but, you know, he treats the Muppets like they're real actors. You know?
I mean, that's what you got to do with the Muppets, like, because that's the way it plays best on camera. It's funny because when you watch the Muppet Show, you realize there were some people who did not know to do that. Most of them did. I love it. It's a tangent, but I feel like the guests on the Muppet Show were kind of like the guests on Scooby-Doo, where they come in two categories of like oh hey, I'm like a totally level down to earth person. You can hang out with me, Scooby Gang. You love me and I love you. And then the other one is, I am a crazy person doing something insane. And now I'm going to interact with you. And those are the two sorts of guests on The Muppet Show, as well as the Scooby-Doo new movies. I'm Don Knotts, and I am investigating a disappearance at a manor, and I'm gonna like dress up as 5 different people. And
Hi, I'm Phyllis Diller. I'm going to talk about my dead husbands.
so we talked about Black Christmas before, but now we got to Bob Clark's other Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, which is a very traditional one. I feel like a lot of people really love this one, and it's like one of their favorites.
This is definitely one of those Christmas movies that's like very ingrained in pop culture.
Yeah.
Like the whole the leg lamp. But yeah, the classic scenes, like one of his friends gets his tongue stuck to a pole.
Yeah.
The bunny pajamas, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about a little boy who wants to get a BB gun.
And everybody keeps telling him, you'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one as a kid, so I'm not as attached to that one. I think it's cute, but I don't want to say it's like one of my favorites.
I watched it a lot as a kid, but like as I got older, I think I definitely started liking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah,
more, which we'll get to soon.
I mean, we could skip to that one if you want, but
No. Let's just kind of go from the order you have.
All right, then the next one is the Santa Claus trilogy, which I only really ever watched the first 2, but.
But yeah, I know all the movies are here. I mostly just wanted to talk about the original, which came out in '94 when we were little tykes.
I also really like the second one. I think the second one's really fun.
Oh, it is.
I mean, like both of them are really fun. The first one's, of course, about Tim Allen, who accidentally kills Santa and then is forced to magically take his place, and how that helps him reconnect with his son during
because at the beginning,
divorce.
Yeah, he's a divorced father and doesn't really spend a lot of time with his kids. So
yeah, and then the second one, he has to get hitched. And so then he leaves the North Pole in command of a toy Santa Claus that is played by Tim Allen as well, and the toy Santa Claus is a fascist dictator. I remember.
Yeah, he thinks everybody's naughty. He's gonna give all the kids coal.
I think Martin and Shay had that on at their Christmas party last year, or the year before, and someone was like, "Oh wow! Like the Nutcrackers are clearly Gestapo," and I was like, "Yeah."
I don't remember if they're like Nutcrackers or like toy soldiers, but
whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think you're right. They're toy soldiers.
But yeah, they're basically they're basically the Gestapo.
Yeah, I mean, because he's got imagery. He's got a symbol on him that like is not a swastika because like you're not insane,
but it suggests
like,
it.
But yeah, it suggests a swastika. Like it's like a comedy Holocaust. Oh God. But yeah, I mean, it's a really fun movie. It's over the top and ridiculous. And I like the romance subplot. Well, I guess that's really the A plot. With him and his son's teacher.
Oh, right.
Or was she the principal?
Principal.
Yeah, she's the principal.
But like you said, he has to get married or he can't be Santa anymore.
Yeah, well, and his son's on the naughty list.
Yeah, that too. Another subplot. Now here we go. Miracle on 34th Street. I mean, there was the one that came out in the 90s, but this is the original from the 1940s.
I had not seen that movie until you showed it to me, but it's
a good one.
It's really cute. Santa.
There's a man named Kris Kringle comes to town, and claiming to be the real deal, and of course nobody believes him.
But he is, and he sets up and and just was it Macy's? Or,
Yeah, Macy's.
Yeah, he sets up as the Macy's Santa, and it ends up being a court case because he's like, "Nah, I'm the real Santa."
And not just that, but also the girl in that movie, like her big arc is that, like she doesn't really believe in Santa and all the Christmas, all the typical Christmas stuff, and as the film progresses, she realizes like the true meaning of the holiday.
Yeah. Another one from the 40s. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure which of these is more popular, but they're like both like classic movies.
Well, funnily enough, like I think they're both considered Christmas movies now, but It's a Wonderful Life isn't like, I mean, like it ends on Christmas, so I mean, like, but the majority of the movie is not set on Christmas the way that, or around Christmas the way that Miracle on 34th Street is. It covers George Bailey's entire life up until he's going to commit.
He's in a desperate situation and is about to commit suicide.
Yeah, and the angel Clarence, who has been shown by God and Joseph his whole life, has to convince him not to kill himself. And it's a really heartwarming movie. Like, I mean, like, it goes to some dark places, but...
Oh, yeah. But, the interesting thing about that movie is, now it's considered this great holiday classic, but when it first premiered in theaters, it flopped.
Well, that was part of the thing is, because it slipped into the public domain...
it meant TV stations could play it without having to pay royalties.
So they played it all the time at Christmas, and so that was really what led to its popularity, is everyone just saw it a bunch. But I mean, when it came out, it was it 46?
Yeah, 46,
okay.
Like right after World War II
Yeah,
ended.
so I mean, like, nobody wanted a depressing movie then.
Right, they wanted something cheerful.
I mean, well, like, Pinocchio and Fantasia flopped for the same reason, really. I mean, like, they're both too dark for the 40s, really, but for what people wanted in the 40s.
It's funny. I know, like, I never saw it as a kid. I only saw it as an adult. But it's like, once I finally saw the movie, I realized, oh, like, this is the movie that, like, so many other movies and shows, like, parody or reference. Like, specifically the timeline, when the part of the movie where Clarence shows in the timeline where George never existed,
Yeah, there's a Rugrats episode that is about that, where Chucky doesn't exist.
Well, you see, if it's so popular, it was referenced on the Rugrats, so there you go.
Also,
enough said.
When you said, I thought, this is the tongue, and the whole thing is the worm. All right, well, we're on to the last two. So we got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is another one that I hadn't seen until recently, but it's really fun.
I know your cousin Jenny, she told me herself that she loves this movie.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I could name, like, any one of the quotes from that movie and she'll get the reference. Is your house on fire, Clark? Yeah, but that's a great movie because it's, like, got, like, typical Christmas stuff, but it's, like, it's the Griswold family, so everything goes wrong. And, it's like the typical holiday stuff of, dealing with relatives that you may not like. Cousin Eddie. That right there is enough reason to watch this movie. I love Cousin Eddie.
I just thought of when the cat accidentally, like, he gets electrocuted.
Oh my God. I feel like you could never have a scene like that today. Like,
oh no,
like,
I mean,
animal
like,
groups would be outraged.
They like pretend to kill a lot of animals in 80s comedies. I feel like A Fish Called Wanda has a really lot of it.
Oh yeah.
apparently in that one there was going to be a subplot in which Otto would shoot the tails off cats, and they were like, this is a bit much. We have dog killing and fish eating and
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's just a really fun movie.
Oh yeah, it's very
very
fun movie.
funny. You're gonna laugh every time you see it.
Yeah, it's very well done. Do you have anything else? Should we move on to the next one?
I guess we should just move on. And now the last but not least, Elf.
Oh. I mean, this is like a perfect Christmas movie, I feel like.
I've loved it since the first year it came out, and I've loved it ever since.
I mean, it's really hard to... I mean, it's just perfect. Like, honestly, like, Will Ferrell is so funny. Him contrasting with James Caan.
Oh, yeah. Just to see those two characters that are like total opposites of each other interact is funny in itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, the premise is that Buddy the elf, as an orphan baby, crawled into Santa's bag and got taken to the North Pole.
And was raised by elves.
Yeah, but as an adult, he finds out he's a human and he returns to New York City.
Where his dad works.
Yeah, his father's on the naughty list. And he meets his father's family and wins them over one by one. Until eventually winning over his father, and it's a very cute movie, anchored of course by Will Ferrell and his wonderful like childlike whimsy as Buddy the Elf.
Also, I wanted to say, I'm not 100% sure in this, but I believe it was Jon Favreau's directorial debut.
Oh, it was his debut? Okay.
Oh, well,
I didn't realize
I'm
that.
I'm not exactly sure, but it's one of his first movies.
But no, I love Jon Favreau. He's done so many movies. I don't think it's his first one. I think Swingers is before that one. No, not actor, director.
But while you're looking that up, I just want to say it's cool because it's a heartwarming, funny Christmas movie, but it also, especially at the beginning of the movie, it like pays homage to like the Rankin Bass Christmas specials. Mm-hmm. I mean, the outfits that the elves wear, they're basically the same as like in the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yes. Elf is not his first movie. He made one called Maid before it that I've never heard of. But Elf is his second movie. I, for some reason, thought he directed Swingers, but he did not actually. Cowboys and Aliens. He hasn't made anything since The Lion King.
But, let's see, what else could I say? Oh, yeah. One of my personal favorite quotes from Elf. We like to stick to the four main food groups. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
Yeah, I don't know if I would eat the spaghetti with the candy
with the candy.
syrup.
Oh no! I mean, those they're great apart from each other, but don't mix them.
Well, you know what? I would probably try it once, especially if Buddy was there. But I don't think I would ever have it again. It's kind of one of those like I would probably try most of Scooby and Shaggy's like gross out foods. I mean, like not for them, but like foods that you hear and you're like, ew.
I liked at the dinner scene when Buddy meets his family for the first time. He just casually chugs a whole 2 liter of soda.
Well, yeah, I mean, he lives on sugar.
And then, like, a few moments later, he has, like, a 15-second long belch.
I love she asked him, how did you sleep? And he said, great. I got a full 40
minutes.
I thought he said 5 hours, but full 40 minutes? Is that what he said?
I believe that's what it is.
Wow. Yeah. That's really funny. Like, he doesn't sleep.
But yeah, it's funny, it's entertaining, and it just references a lot of previous Christmas movies, at least to that point.
Yeah.
All right. So, we forgot to mention one important Christmas movie. I can't believe this one slipped my mind, but Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah, this one's one of your favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I have to watch this every year. I mean, I just never get tired of it. I loved it as a kid. I love it as an adult. I love seeing Kevin McAllister beat the crap out of the burglars.
It's funny. I don't know that I'd seen the movie all the way through until living with you, because I'd always seen it on TV, and so I had seen it from a certain point after he'd already been left home to the end of the movie.
All right. Well, sorry. Yeah, there was just a horn. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I'd ever seen the movie all the way through until we started living together, because I'd always seen it on TV. So, I mean, you always see it in the middle and then you watch it to the end. So, when I watched it with you, I realized, man, they are so mean to him.
Oh yeah.
Scenes.
Oh yeah. His family is terrible.
They suck.
Especially Uncle Frank.
Yeah, he's so mean. I love Tim Curry in the second one.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
That may be the first movie I ever saw Tim Curry in.
I'm pretty sure mine was Clue, but
Oh, that makes sense. That's one of your favorites.
yeah. But maybe Rocky Horror Picture Show. I saw that one relatively young.
But as for Home Alone, Home Alone 1 and 2, I mean, that's one of those instances where the sequel is just as good as the original.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, this is just me, I kind of like the first one a little more just because it takes place in Chicago the whole time, and, we're from the Chicago suburbs.
I also like the first one a little better. I mean, no shade to the second one. I think it's good, but the first one feels like it could happen. The second one does not feel like it could happen, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind that, but the first one feels like theoretically it could happen. The second one is no, there's no way that would happen.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing those movies came out when they did, because back in the early 90s, long before the days of, social media and texting and stuff like that, it's it might actually be possible,
Oh,
to leave a kid behind.
yeah. I mean, I thought you were gonna go in a different direction, so I
don't know what I was trying to say. Sometimes my tongue gets over my teeth and I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that the gate security following 9/11 would have made sure that they wouldn't miss they would have noticed the kid was missing at that point.
Oh, that's a good point too. I mean, it was made pre 9/11. So yeah, you actually, I'm not sure because I'm not old enough to remember. I never went flying before 9/11, but yeah, I guess at one point you could actually run last minute to a plane.
Well, I never did that, but I do remember because I had at least gone to Disney World and probably other places on a plane before 9/11. And I remember when they started making you take your shoes off, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird."
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of par for the course.
Yeah. Now it's just okay, what are you gonna make us take off? What are you gonna make us take out of the bag? It changes at every airport. So, but it changes at every line, because sometimes at Midway you take everything out, and then sometimes you don't. So.
Yeah, if the movie was made today, the McAllisters definitely would have missed their plane because of all the security they would have had to go through.
Yeah. But yeah.
And it's I love how, it happens in the first and then the second movie. They don't realize he's not there until they're picking up their bags.
Yeah. I love the mom. She's great.
Kevin.
Yeah. And then her chilling with John Candy in the first movie, trying to get home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very cute.
Polka King of the Midwest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess we didn't really do like a description of the movies, but Macaulay Culkin plays Kevin, who is accidentally left home alone twice. Did John Hughes write both of them? I believe.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he wrote them both, and then Chris Columbus directed them both.
Okay, cool. Well, that's why they're good. I mean, because like that's a great creative team behind it. And Macaulay Culkin is a really good child actor. I mean, he carries those two movies. I mean, like he's in every scene.
Oh yeah, he was. You know, there are just some child actors that they just know it. Like it almost comes naturally to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else unless you do.
No, I don't think we do. I think we covered the basics. So, thank you for watching. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.